For instance, I developed a mouthwash, antiseptic mouthwash. I looked at the standard treatment and benefits of my product towards the standard of care. And I could identify towards the pharmacist, towards the dentist, the stomatologist, a patient group that he could use my product for. So after the confirmation that the product works, was used by the consumer and it's sold, then I had to roll out the company, and rolling out was to find more salespeople. And so I could develop more products. The salespeople I wanted to hire were the best in class. The only problem was I was 25 years old, and people from Bayer Novartis, they didn't want to leave their company for a new starting company that was unknown. So I had to hire a gray hair consultant who did the hiring. And so at the end, I had an expensive sales team with too little products. So I was in a treadmill. I had to develop rapidly more products. But then I saw an opportunity. And in fact, to me, what is the definition of opportunity? Everybody is looking at the same thing, but some of the people notice what they can do with this opportunity, with what they see. So it was a company did have a part of the company that was not very aligned with the global strategy. So I went to this company and I asked them, okay, can I buy this part of your company because it's not aligned with the rest of your activities? And they said, yeah, we're happy to do it. And then I said, well, there's a second problem. I don't have the money. So I had to explain them my vision. How could I grow the company? What value could I create? So I motivated them to become shareholder. So they sold me the company, and I gave them shares in return of the combined group. And so explaining your vision to the seller is important. So I could gain critical mass. And so this company, Moose Pharma, I developed into a bigger company, 12 million euro. We wanted to go to stock exchange, but 9/11 passed through. And then I was in a situation where I was a little bit stuck. And that's also an important lesson to all of you. If you're in front of a wall and you don't see don't see any escape, keep trying. Just continue going on, because one moment the wall will break open and you will find an opportunity. So one moment I had the idea, said, okay, maybe we should merge with my biggest competitor, Omega Pharma. So I called Mark Hoeken. I said, Mark, can we have a chat? And in fact, we were strong competitors, but when we were on the same side of the table, it went very well. So in 3 weeks' time, the merger was organized, happened. Then I worked for Omega 1 year, so in Portugal, in Germany. And after 1 year, I wanted to start to create something new. So I started the veterinary pharmaceutical company, Cardon Pharmaceuticals, later on Equifar, later on renamed to Animal Care Group PLC, which I put at stock exchange in 2017. And in October 2018, I wanted to step down as CEO and go for a new venture. So I'm still at the board, and I'm still reference shareholder of Animal Care. And this new venture is quite interesting because it's Ziphius Therapeutics. And what is the background? So I saw people dying of where no therapy was existing. And I did illnesses, and I saw there's a lot of genetics. And I found we went to up to 300 that were maybe feasible to find a therapy for. And then I wanted to link this with discovery that was earlier done at universities. I talked to different universities, and we found a couple of discoveries that we could bring in preclinical and phase 1 development. So invention has already been done, but to bring that into commercialization, commercial product. So 3 research areas we picked out is immunology, respiratory, and endocrinology. And Next thing was to look and to find and to engage the top researchers, a little bit like my super salespeople that I wanted to hire in the beginning. So now I still don't have gray hair, but I have a little bit more experience. So, and we looked all over the world to find the most experienced people in our mRNA fields. We found them, we convinced them to work with us. We shared our vision. And we started working, and then January, COVID-19 was spreading. And again, everybody was seeing it, and we saw this is not something that's happening. We noted this is an opportunity for us. I talked with the researchers. I said, well, I saw that before you were creating a Zika vaccine, a vaccine for Zika. Do you think it's difficult to make a COVID-19 vaccine? They said, well, we don't know, but normally not. So let's have it. Then we worked on it during 2 weeks, back and forth. And after 2 weeks, we decided to go full throttle for the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. And I looked also, how could we differentiate ourselves from the other vaccines? So in terms of technology, we could differentiate ourselves. Our mRNA vaccine would be in a faster development, safer, less costly. So we ticked the box number 2, so the differentiation. And then we need to build up a group of experts around us, so to share our vision, to get people that could help us in the partnering. So we hired Mathieu Gadanfar, so ex-Novartis, who reported to the CEO of Novartis Group globally, so he can help us on the partnering with other companies. We also teamed up with David Zwicker, who is a clinical trial expert. I teamed up also with Ministry of Health a couple of times to see where there's a need, then manufacturing partners. So it goes well. And now next thing we need to do is to share our vision with the investors in order to raise sufficient funds, and also create a link with the public authorities and the commercial. So let's say EU point of view would be very beneficial for our company to see where our vaccine could fit in their health program. And maybe I'll pass on the word to Lara or Alexandra, who is working with Ziphius.
Hello, my name is Alexandra and I'm a pharmacist by training. During my internship in a pharmacy, I realized I wanted to be involved in product development. And thanks to my Vlerick network, I came in contact with Ziphius and with Lara, and she introduced me to the company. And what I really like in working for a small company is the fact that you can take ownership, but also that you are involved in decision making. And that's really interesting here.
Hi, I'm Lara van Opdorp. I'm an occupational therapist by training, and I really learned to think from a patient-centered perspective. But then I started to think about how I could make an even bigger impact and to help patients. So then I did a master in general management at Vlerick Business School, and I came into contact with Ziphius through a traineeship. Now I'm working here for 1 year, and the thing that I really like about working at a startup and small company is that you get involved in the whole project, and you also really have the chance to contribute to the growth of the company. So nice to meet you all, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Yes, thank you very much, Chris Cardon and his associates. Harry, yes, I received a couple of questions. Maybe the first from Mr. Cardon. What's your biggest lesson learned from creating your own business? What would you recommend to young people wanting to start their own enterprise?
Well, as I said, so give yourself a chance. So think about what are you good in, what is your excellence, what is people, and then in terms of product, if you would develop a product, what is your differentiation towards the other products? And then next to that, keep believing in yourself, listen to a lot of people, talk with a lot of people, and go for it.
Thank you. And what impact will COVID-19 crisis have on starting new companies or on current new companies? What do you think will happen? More mergers or more competition?
Well, I would say the COVID-19 climate, we use it because it's a climate where more things are possible in a shorter time frame. Things can happen in parallel on the regulatory side, and everything we developed for our COVID-19 vaccine, we can use later on. We can leverage on it for other vaccines that we will develop. So I think for those that embrace the COVID-19 environment and that continue to work and try to accelerate, I think it's a super time, because we can advance much faster, and if in normal times we would do the same thing, it would take 2 years longer. So it's an advantage. If you would think what's going to happen after COVID-19, well, companies that are laid back and are vulnerable, probably they will disappear. But companies that took the advantage of this environment will become stronger.
Thank you. What current vacancies are open at Ziphius? What kind of people are you looking for? What kind of backgrounds?
Well, as I told you, what we're really missing is the liaison between the EU Commission to understand the needs and to bridge the gap between public and private. Because we want to advocate, defend our vaccine towards the European Commission, towards Europe, to be one of the possibilities for vaccination of the European community. So those who feel interested for applying, please be welcome. So a little bit of experience and understanding how the European government works in terms of healthcare is of course necessity.
And how can people grow in your company? Are there any development opportunities, any partnerships through other companies that you can engage with?
Well, for instance, it's not because we're a small and young company that we don't work in a professional way. So, for instance, our manufacturing partners, we're teaming up with a company in San Diego, California, with a Canadian company, with a German company, with a French company. So we're internationally. The people we're working with, such as Mathieu Gadanfar. Mathieu Gadanfar is, for instance, the person that did the acquisition of Avexis at Novartis, and Avexis is the company that did create the PIA drug. So we are working with highly skilled professionals. And so if your question is how can you grow in the company? Well, the company will grow, and normally it's that the people grow with the company. So the let's say the responsible.
Sorry, I think the connection was not great. The last question.
Okay.
Could you maybe repeat the last?
Yeah. So we are working in a highly professional, highly skilled professional environment. So it's not because you're a smaller company that it's not applying to the standards of a huge company, but we are agile. So that's an improvement. That's a positive thing. And then next to that, the company will grow. So we're currently 22 people. We want to grow by the end of the year to 28 or 50 people. So the company will grow, the responsibilities will grow, the tasks will become bigger for each person. So it's not that you will move up to another job, it's the job that will move up.
Thank you. Another question. What places, what events would you recommend to get to know potential partners, create networks, and in your case, create mergers?
For Ziphius or for the trainees?
For Ziphius and trainees, if that's a suitable question.
Okay. Well, I think job fairs like you're doing right now for the trainees is quite good, and I guess LinkedIn is also a good network. I think deliver some communication, some papers, depending what kind of job you want to go for. But trying to reach out with what you're good at, with your skill. And if that's opinion maker, or is that trying to influence, so lobbying, then try to write a paper on it. If it's more on the sales side, then try to sell a product, or try to go towards sales people and give them ideas, or sales companies to give them ideas how to sell the product better. Reach out with your skill.
Thank you. A little question: how many, like, other people working at your company that were involved in lobbying and political networking?
Totally not. So that's really what we need right now.
Okay, thank you. Another question, because I mean, this is the European Commission job fair. I was just wondering, to what extent are you involved with European Union affairs? To what extent are you involved with European institutions? Are there any close relations, or are they indirect relations?
Well, right now we're talking to the Belgian Ministry of Health. Discussion on what is going to be their policy on the COVID-19 vaccine, but we need to bring this discussion higher up to the European Commission. So up till now, it's a gap we need to bridge.
Right. Thank you very much. So the position, so you said that you were creating, that you were willing to have people that were involved in lobbying and political intervention. Would you create a new division for lobbying in your company? Would there be at what stage would you create such a division, department?
Well, I think we should start thinking about it right now, and not only thinking but doing it. And it's urgent. So right now is the moment, and this division depends how many people we need for that. But it can be a separate division in the company, of course. This a department, let's say a department, and we want to do it now. Thank
you. And how many people do currently work at your company, and from what point will you start expanding? From how many employees will you think of like expanding, make institutional changes?
Okay, well, currently we're going towards 22 people, and we want to expand depending on the future work. But for instance, now we're teaming up on the manufacturing, preparing the clinical trials, talking towards the regulatory bodies in Belgium and Europe. And once we have a go and an okay to start our clinical trials, then we will need much more people working with us. In the meantime, we have also started the second development. So probably we'll go up to 50 in a quite quick time, 50 people in quite soon. And depending on the research programs that we can organize, that we can implement, we will need more people for sure. So my estimate is in 3 to 5 years time to go up to 200 people.
Could you elaborate a little bit more about the application process, and could maybe Alexandra confirm these, I mean, factors that you find important if you see an application of a person?
Would you like Alexandra to answer, or myself?
It would, yeah, it would also be nice to see the, I mean, your side.
If I tell the truth.
If you tell the truth, yeah.
I think what is important that on the CV, on the resume, that we see specific knowledge of the person. We're good at this or this or this or this, and for instance, if it's argumentation or is it defending, for instance, safety profile of a drug, or because that's what's going to happen. You don't need to be a medical doctor, but you need to write about it in a way that the reader will be convinced of the safety profile. So if you're doing like that, then it's better to send also a small document with the resume that proves that you're a good argument, that you can bring good arguments to the table. Then we're quite a transparent company, so everybody can give his decision, his opinion. I think this combined with hard work and a group person. We don't want Einzelgangers. We want people that function well in a group, in a small group. And Alexandra, please go.
Well, if I tell you about my application process here, so as I mentioned, I came in touch with Ziphius thanks to Lara, and especially the conversation I had for my application. It was actually not a normal HR conversation, so I really liked it. Mr. Cardon asked about my interests and what my motivation was to work for a small company, and also Lara. She asked me about it, and it was just a normal conversation where I had to tell them, about all of my interests. And I really liked that. You didn't get a question like, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? Because that's something that you can prepare, and that's, everyone has a standard answer for it, but you got the real questions, and it was a really relaxed conversation. And I think for people who want to apply, I can only say, just be yourself and show that you have it in you to work for a small company, that you are dedicated, that you have an entrepreneurial mindset. That's important as well. And I can only advise to work for a small company, and that's my experience.
Thank you. Another question: where is the company situated, and will it all stay centralized, or will it? I mean, will there be different campuses? Will there be different?
But the company, the labs. The labs are currently in Ghent located. We have offices near Bruges and Oostkamp. But one of the ideas is to move to Ghent, so be closer to the labs, and also have offices closer to the lab. So now, if people, for instance, we have 2 people that live in Basel and work in Basel for us. So that's not a problem. From time to time we see each other, and with Teams or Zoom we can exchange and communicate. So it's not a problem. If people are not located at the same place, it's not a problem.
Are you aiming at Belgian people to work for your company, or are you also aiming for internationals? What nationalities work at your company?
We have people from India, people from Bangladesh, people from Scotland, and then I think all the other people are Belgian people. So there's no border international. everything is okay. We have even an Italian person. That's correct. Italian person. So there's no limitation. And I think every nationality has its flavor, so that brings up also a nice mix and with the people.
So then I believe that the working language is English, or is there also some correct. French involved?
It's English, and French is also possible, but if you want all of the people to communicate with each other, it's English.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was the last question. I think we've come to an end. I would love to, I really want to thank you for your participation in this job fair. It was very interesting. I hope the trainees did enjoy as well. I believe they did. And you will hear from us soon. I thank you. It was an honor.
A last thing, Arend,
thank you very much.
To share with Arend, the last thing I wanted to share with all of you trainees is that's a quote. There's a lot of things that look impossible until they are done by somebody else. So impossible is a word that we should delete out of our textbook.
That's indeed, that's a very interesting and inspiring quote. I thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
And
thank you.
I wish you all the best and have a lovely day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.